Karalama, Welcome, everyone. Go ahead and take a few deep breaths. Hold it and let it out very slowly. Go ahead and take a few more if you'd like to. I was just getting some visuals for you guys. The first message I was getting was I was seeing a box kind of lounge chair, right? It didn't lounge or anything, but it was like a low level box chair, like a vinyl or leather box chair, but you know, cushiony. But it was low to the ground. And then inside that box was another box that was like vinyl-y looking, that was magenta color. That was the first vision. The next vision was very odd. It started to look like a person, but then it wasn't a person. Perhaps some bug energies that were coming in, as well as human and as well as AI, like R2-D2 kind of energy, but it was very innocent. And then when it came down to it, it was this tiny little bird inside a protective suit, and this energy of extreme vulnerability. And a lot of bird and angel energies is coming up as well. So I have a lot to present to you. I have my message of the day from today, as well as some other notes from the past week, and then my abbreviated read on the table for you guys that I did yesterday. We are going to roll the die. We're going to pull a card to see what the energies are right now, and then we'll get right into the messages. All right, so I did not sleep last night, and I'm doing fine, but just so you know, if I start slurring my words or something like that. It's 5:39 on the clock right now, which is the 5 of the Hierophant. Freedom, change, excitement, the 39 of the Knight of Cups. Being love. That higher love, there could be some Taurus and water energies coming in. But commitment, guidance, tradition, societal norms all come up with the Hierophant. It's also Taurus. Can represent religion, establishments. Let's see what's coming up with the die for you guys. All right, we have 11, which is justice, which is truth and balance, alignment. We also have the Gemini symbol, which is very similar to that. So Gemini, communications. It's like 1111 right there. And then we have Mars, which is that aggressive energy of the masculine, and Aries energy, which is in the North Node. And we have Libra, the South Node. And then we have the twin energy of Gemini in the middle, the messenger. So mutable, cardinal, and cardinal. All right, so they're like two cardinal energies escorting the twins. Very interesting. So let's see how that goes. So, you know, Libra's all about balance, and Aries is all about initiation. So, you know, that we have that axis with the Gemini twin energy in the middle, which is a really nice energy, actually. The cardinal energy leading the way. Newton's cradle has been coming up a lot. It's associating itself with the cardinal, mutable, and fixed energies. Like the 3 balls in the middle of the Newton's cradle are the fixed energies. The one that you pull is the cardinal ball that resonates through the other 3 balls out the other side, which is then the messenger ball. That's like the mercurial ball that goes off and gets the messages to everybody else. So that will come up in the messages today. All right, before I start, I'm going to pull, I kind of want to pull from my Mythic deck with the Greek gods. Let's see what comes up for you guys. So stay tuned for the message of the day, especially. There's a lot of deep energies were coming up today. Really cool stuff. A lot of information too. Even if you don't understand all of it, it will be activating your inner knowing. So it will unravel things for you as you go. Not necessarily understanding it all today, but you are receiving it all. So your body will process that and unravel your own messages as you go. So from the Mythic deck, let's see what comes up for the Twin Flames today. And don't forget, my other channel, I posted all 12 signs already. I just finished. So all 12 signs are over at Evelyn Stainthorpe, as opposed to my Twin Flames 3344 channel, which you're looking at here. All right, for the Twin Flames. All right, we have 2 cards coming up here. Chiron and Healing, and that has the 33 of the Christ vibration, and there's this Pegasus energy here too. And Themis and the natural order of things, and it's very much that Mother Nature type of energy. And the 10, which is the Wheel of Fortune, and Libra again. And I want to say CB, like 10-4 came up today, and I want to say 1033, but I don't know what that code means. If someone wants to look it up, they can put it in the comments if they'd like to. We have 27 of Aphrodite coming up here too, of love. So it's like the mother and the daughter and the son. And then we have Cronus and the underlying energies with cycles. So of course, you know, I always think of the time clock, because Chronos at work, I haven't been there in 8 years, but that's what always makes me think of Father Time. The 5 is the Hierophant coming up again, which is, again, freedom, change, and expansion. And the Hierophant, which is all about tradition and societal norms and religion and establishment leaders, the way things are supposed to be, following the rules. So he's the underlying energy. So he's not the Uranus father, right? He's the son of Uranus, right? So he's not the grandfather here. He's the father. And then, you know, we have this other energy here. She's not a father. She's a mother energy, or even a grandmother energy. But very Mother Nature energy here, right? She knows her masculine and feminine sides. She's very in tune with the natural order of things. And then here's the, you know, the sexy daughter, and here is the Pegasus son coming up with the Christ vibration. And Aphrodite's coming up with the day's date today, 27, which for me is my Queen's Gambit, and the Vesica Pisces coming up together, which the way my Vesica Pisces comes together, it naturally creates then a 3rd ring. I'm getting ding, 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 or ding-a-ling-a-ling, or some kind of ring is coming in here. We have 40, 50, 60, 70. So the 3 cards add up to 70, 30, 40, 50, 60, yep, 70, which is the 2 of Pentacles, which is the performance. And she's reminding me of the 2 of Pentacles too, because she's, you know, she's got different colors on each side of her body. So it's like she's identifying each side of her body with her daughter, and then her son is the energy I'm getting here. So we'll see if anything else comes up. And of course, this is about, you know, healing the wounded warrior. And your Chiron return comes up around 50 years old. So if you're dealing with that, that can be representing that. But it's coming up with the Sagittarius energy, you know, with the horse. It's like, you know, the Christ energy, and then the Mr. Ed Pegasus energy. I always call God Mr. Ed, and Sagittarius. And that'll be coming up with the dates of December 7th and 13th will come up in the messages today. And they came up in a whole new way, so it was really cool the way they came up today. So again, the performance here of connecting. And remember, your children are an extension of yourself. They're your DNA. So she's literally showing you, this is my feminine side, this is my masculine side. I'm showing you the best of me is what I'm getting. And again, here's the father energy and the underlying energy. And he looks like he's thinking. He's just thinking. I feel like memories is coming up for him. And that actually came up in one of the signs this week. I can't remember exactly which one it was. It was either the last one I did or the second to last one. But memories, Barbara Streisand came up. And just looking back, I'm getting that for the guy in the underlying energy here. And freedom. Where does the time go? So I'm going to, and that could be like a two parents and two kids, or it could be a grandmother, a son, and two children, or a mother and their two children, and perhaps a grandfather. So it could be mixed there. There's just definitely this energy of a different energy. He's contemplating memories, and she's contemplating her future, right? So it's like bringing the past and the future simultaneously into the present moment. And we have Helen of Troy underneath Cronus, all about beauty, but remember she started a war over her beauty. And we have Bellerophon too, right? Who got knocked down a peg because he was this great, warrior athlete, but when he tried to go to Olympus, he got in trouble with Zeus and he got hurt getting thrown off of Pegasus. So, yeah, right, they both have these issues, and this is Poseidon's, I'm not sure who her parents are, I forget, but he's Poseidon's son, and Zeus crippled him. So again, we could be dealing with uncles here, and Hades is right under him. Yep, in the underworld, and he's not showing his face. And then we have the true grandfather or the great grandfather, because Uranus is right under him. So he's the thinking man right here, thinking about what's going on in his lineage here, all the way down the food chain, from the sons to the grandchildren to their children now. Okay, the thinking man, and then going to hell, becoming crippled, being kidnapped, and then just the father contemplating the cycles of life and time. Where did the time go? All right, so some of the notes that I was just summarizing before I get started with what I want to bring you today. And today's the 27th, and I'm going to start on the 26th after I summarize the other messages that were coming up. I did check out my Instagram messages too, because I've been posting quite a few messages over there. I reposted my Evie's Lock, which is some coding that I use, which could be very interesting. It might activate some memories for you. This week, Twin Astrology was coming up. I haven't seen her in a long time. That came up, as well as Julia Belez from Galactic Astrology on YouTube. And I actually did meet with Julia years ago, and she has some new messages coming up as well. So you might want to check them out. The energy of the egg and water came up more than once together. The energy of the seed, the human, and your emotions, connecting your vision, your telepathic vision, or your TV. And 5 nights were coming up as laughing it up. And then time out for the twin flames, perhaps in sudden events, with Master of the Sea, which is Poseidon, and the Sage of Flames. The energy of Sophia to follow our dreams and speak. Fitness and fit sea was coming up, as well as the King of the Sea and the Queen of the Waves. On the whispering bench with the gamma waves. And the energy of the K and the Q of being greater than just the one, which is the leap between two, and the K, which is energy, and then the Q of the conception of the waves. And the whisper of the sea. The concept of implosion, or going within, folding in upon oneself. And the numbers 11 and 17 had come up there, which are 28, the twin flames. 11 is justice and alignment. 17 is the star and healing. Dreaming. Having your dreams come true. Equaling the 28 of the choice of path or twin flames. And to exclaim and epiphanize simultaneously with truth and balance while the star implodes and collapses inside out and through to the other side. The twin flame time out to waves. And then Maria was coming up as Mar, which is sea, and then Ea, which is Enki or Poseidon. So again, the king of the sea is coming up as Maria. Very interesting there. So 414 came up a few times. So I looked up 414, and it came up in gematria as Yeah, America First, Rock Star, the Kings of Edom, Reptilians, the Torah Code, Traditional Tractor, Prisoner Behind the Scenes, Sonic Booms. Jinn came up, Ginn. So then the cotton gin came up, and Pa says Dina. So that's like the father is coming up saying it's dinner time. And actually I ended up going, I wasn't expecting to. I had a last minute invitation to go to Maryland, and Maryland was coming up there. 21122 with the World and the Fool with a new cycle here. Time Out and Time on Y, or to New York, which also, and Y was coming up as the new year. The Path of the Eve, or, right, New Year's Eve and the new year. Sabian symbols were coming up, as well as 4 degrees and 8 degrees, especially from Twin Astrology. She was comparing 2019 to 23, if you want to check that out. And let's see here. And just check out some of the Sabian symbols of degrees of the current time, or perhaps around your birthday, to see what comes up for you. New Year's was coming up. A large group of pheasant on a private estate. And then Julia, with Galactic Astrology, was bringing up the South Node in Libra at 2.2 degrees next year. I'm not sure what the date is for that, coming into union with the Galactic Center. The dawn of a new day that reveals everything that's changed. The energy of the fruits of the past coming into the seeds of creation. And we leave Aries and Libra in January, sometime in January 11/25. And yeah, I think nothing else on that page. But a lot about the Galactic Center was coming up. The butterfly cluster, the pipe, the 90-degree latitudes as opposed to the 360 longitudes, Galactic Center in Sagittarius A, and M6 is the butterfly cluster. I believe that's M6. And what was coming up is the space between there's 100 black holes were coming up in there. But the general message was coming up as a way out of the dark, to bleed, like teasing a knot, unforgettable thirst when exposed to harm, retribution, bloodlust, and unraveling, loosening the grip. The lover's foe, the hermit and the 9, starseed support, Gemini and Virgo, Sagittarius and God and messengers who must stay connected at all times. One always supporting the other, the tale of 2 cities, or CTs, See the TY, or the gratitude, in the whispering bench, connected to the top dog, who lets the dogs out, the mercurial energies, and then FTD was coming up, of the wings. The twin flames and the source divine, or two vine, co-creation with spin. So as I've said before, with the C in the parentheses, right, you can't have the C without the anti-C, which becomes the parentheses, or the pairing of the C's, the the C's, or antithesis. So D used to be a short way of writing M. So M is two ones and a V, which is co-creation. And D is a short way of writing two parentheses with one in the middle, which also is a way of writing M. So D is the same as M, but it's just one C on an axle that when it spins becomes the full circle. And then you see both parentheses. Or pi, which is the two C's with the line down the middle. The antithesis to the pairing of the C's, or parenthesis. The C becomes the anti-C when it spins, spiraling back and forth. And then TZ was coming up, which in Egyptian is the vertebra and spine, the support, the neck, to tie a knot, to knot and resolve, untie and revolve again. And evolve keeps coming up because that's love and love backwards together. Evolve, so saying evolve in Italian. To knot or not to knot. And be instead. In sweet, AD. So the inner child was coming up in my code lines here. IC and SI were coming up, or SI and IC. And it was coming up as intracytoplasmic sperm injection, ICSI, but also the inner child, and Sophia I am. ISCI also came up as work or worker. And then as I was falling asleep, not last night, but the night before, they were asking me to break down transmutation, transformation, and transcending, which send is Sandra, which is ash, or to purify metals. But in Palladian, it's also bright light. So that brings me to the current page, which is the 26th. And the 26th was coming up as the 2 and the 6, which remember the 2 and the 2 can look like the capital Q in script. So there's that energy of the Q, and then the 6 can be the G. So it came up as QG, which Q has a tail, and G is a C with a T at the bottom, right? The Christ energy and the top dog. So if you take the tail and the T away, which is it, you have the O and the C. The energy of the human embodiment of source on the whispering bench, and then the IT energy of the I am and the top dog. But also OC can be coming up in a lot of ways, like Ocean City or other things like that. But OC it, right? The human embodiment of source on the whispering bench, or the Christ consciousness, it. And again, with the 26 and the Q and the G was coming up the galactic center, GC. The butterfly and double bubbles in the galactic center that are guided by plasma energy chimneys, like escorts, which keep coming up in my messages. So we go into translating, and I'm not going to go into all the definitions specifically, but I'm going to give you what I got at the end for each one, right? So I broke down trans in multiple ways, and then mute, form, and send. Okay, so there's this energy for transmute, to dampen, muffle, or even wet something down. And then ultrasound was coming up as purifying to the other side, to dampen the sound on the way through, to tone it down in a double bond as the initiator's call gets muffled in translation, and softens the blow so that the messenger doesn't get killed, right? Don't kill the messenger. The trance of one mute, lost in translation. The extraneous purified, to initiate and pull back, entrusting the middle, the uncomplicated go-between, the blowtorch, the dear one, to get the message through in a calm, respectful way, across and beyond. Or Turkish one was also coming up, and then the issue with the word pagan, which can be reflected as dirty or being the devil, which is quoted in church all the time if you're not of that religion. So going through a plasma portal here with transmutation, but it has to do with sound, because it's about muting. It's about, and again, ultrasound was coming up, right, as that instant communication, muffling the sound so you don't have all the extraneous energies that we speak going through to the message at the end. So Evolve comes up here, Evolove. Comes up as the house, home, family, hell, dynasty era of being and feeling. The head, the body is being called the sac here, and then the crevice and hole of the butt. To end up now in the moment with the V of creation, where VB, capital B, means verb, or to talk, on demand, in the holy place of offering, the place of birthing, of pain, which of course you know women scream, right? They verbalize very easy when they are birthing. Flirting with pain and longing and verbalizing on demand and transition, perhaps dealing with a worm, oh dear. Where the house comes up as even, odd being, and then the now moment of V1, which means to you, oh dear, in birthing the egg and the water, holy Moses in a basket. And I wasn't getting this in my notes, but a casket was also coming in just now, and I don't necessarily feel like that has to do with death. To be able to fly and soar across. And the energy of that 26 coming up again with Newton's cradle, and then the QCIT, the human conception in the galactic center. So notice that trans is also the word train, just without the I, whether it's the lowercase I of the chakra system in my coding, or the I am. The lowercase I of the movement to bring the 3 in, to be able to fly and soar across. And then transform comes up as now, normal saline, in the den of the rabbit, the 31 of the chaos of life, a combination of crystal planes arranged in a shape, in a maze or condition, paper, the whispering bench, to create quality of movement, a state of being, to make up, quantify, organize randomness, and channel it into a controlled group that you can understand. A blob of clay into something functional. Oh, I forgot, I saw that too. I was seeing, I was getting it as like cookie dough, but it looked more like a small piece of clay that you flattened, right? It wasn't perfectly, it was roundish, but it wasn't perfectly, flat. It was lumpy, but not lumpy like cookie dough would be. But the first thing I was getting was cookie dough. Right, something that's moldable. Pages and a spine of a book. They can also be a young human, or even 2 humans sharing the same binding or chakra system. And then transcend was coming up as, along with the Sandra, which is ash or bright light, the AE, to purify metal or bringing movement to the whispering bench to the end. One equal and congruent to the chariot and divine, or a globe that spins on an axis, moving beyond the ash to bright light. And then it was coming up as, you send me to go where no man has gone before, because your soul has been able to go anywhere, but your body wasn't able to go with it before. And through the now moment, or the trance, the initiator of the past, through the fixed now moment, like Newton's cradle, right? Remember the 3 middle balls are fixed. Through the fixed now moment to the other side, to the messenger future, actually bringing in the present, right? Because everything's really happening at the same time. The transcend of tran, SC, and end. 1 point through Sophia and Christ, wisdom and purified ego with a light heart, a wise dome or do me, and evolve. The ring of fire and wooden beam, now one. C to end, where ND means you're welcome. So say thank you. And say thank you, and then C, you're welcome, or YAW, which is yaw, but comes up as y'all, see y'all. And now one seal in the end, the ash or light at the end of the tunnel. Thank you and you're welcome, sealed with a kiss. And the end of the tunnel is coming up as the channeling. Thank you and you're welcome, sealed with a kiss. And then I was getting a Canadian kiss because Mel pops in now and then. But the kiss is KI, which is key, which is, Elena Donan always comes up as key as being earth, which I believe is a definition of earth as well. And then the SS, so earth, terra, and the root, where both snakes or spirals start. At the heart of it all, the wreath of ether, the AE of ash or bright light, and the THR of the high road, the highway to heaven, and the avenue to hen, or he, and the N, which is for me code Christ, and JC, which JC, the letters actually represent the toroidal field as well with movement. So 26 comes up again here with the butterfly and the double bubbles of the galactic center, and that QG of the 26th, and the OCIT. So OCITI means I or obvious, and Ocitus and Ocitar came up as to yawn, but without being, right? So to yawn, without, they're saying, without being a human, you're just yawning, right? It's just a yawn. There's nothing else because you're not a human being. But it's to love, to evolve, to love and to be the reflection of that. So as we go forward here, it was Libra that had the memories, Barbara Streisand memories. And the dachshund dog and the horse. So horse and hound was coming up with Libra as well. But the horse was beautiful with human light eyes and long eyelashes, but it was coming up as a male energy, but with like female energy. And pets were coming up as having memories too. So some of your pets may be acting strange because perhaps they're having memories. And something that came up on my Instagram was someone coming to pick up a puppy and the mother not letting them take their puppy, which made complete sense to me. I'm like, how do they deal with being separated from their moms? So again, pets with memories coming up. All right, so let's see where we're going here next. All right, so evolve literally means endless love. Behold, see, hear, there, endless duration, eternity. Evo, EVO, is age or years, era, or long period of time. And then love, endless love. So the cards that came up here in the underlying energy was the moon, 21, which is the world and the moon. And then 17 with love came up, 32 of transformation, and 13 of goals, which is interesting because we're just talking about the words transformation and love, which then came up separately in the cards here, and 13 as the transition of the goals or to the gold. The word and the world were coming up, the star, the journey, and death, the chains of love and money, and romantic world of love, dreams, and breaking those chains in the transition to the gold. And again, we have the Olympics coming up this year. The 21 of the world, and then it was coming up, I was adding the cards together, and it was coming up 21, 38, 70, and then 83. And that 70 had just come up as the 2 of Pentacles, which is the 2 performing. And the 38 and 83 are reflections of them, of each other. And the 38 is the Queen of Cups. And it was coming up as the mother and daughter energy there too. And then the 38 and 83 together equals 121, which is the feminine in the middle, or the Q of conception, and then the two masculine energies on either side. So word is WO, or the woe road. And there is this difficult energy coming up right now. And Teddy's acting up a bit. He's doing that on purpose. And I don't know why. He actually had 2 walks today. And he got lots of attention today. I think he wants me to take his collar off, though. He had a couple knots around his collar, which we cut off, and then he felt much better. But then he was walking around without his collar on. So I think he's feeling a little bit restricted. So that could be coming up with your animals. So world at the left, but the right angle. So world at the left, because the left is the right angle. And then 2 U's were coming up, or that D spin, like the D being the axle with the C spinning around it, like a world on an axis. And then I was getting some drawings that I'll have to draw up revolving around Evolve, and how it collapses into really interesting information. The royal house, or the empty place, the painful place of offerings and deliverance. But then it collapses into the V, because remember I talked about the V being the 1 that splits into 2 and then becomes the horizontal line from the vertical line. So the V is coming up as that creation energy of splitting from the vertical into the horizontal as the human plane. So in Evolve, the V's were becoming the 1, but then I was also doing it as the horizontal line. It was very interesting the way they were collapsing together. And I was getting the energy of windows on either side with the butterfly in the middle, or that galactic center, or the torus center. And then it ends up turning into the double diamond star. So, and I'll definitely write this up. I have to do the drawings online so that you can understand it better. It's too hard with my my writing. But the torus is escorted by windows. Again, left at the right angle, at the center of it all. Birthing between the vertical and horizontal. And then it ends up at 0 point. It was really cool how it collapsed into 0 point. It went into EIOLOIE, and then mushed together, and then became HOLOH, which then became holo, and holo, which is the astrol, or a hologram, and then it became hello, and then it became the whole surprise, and then it became the whole 0, which is 0 point. So it's really cool the way it collapsed into that. And very much the energy of the toroidal field, the circling around the donut, which is also the apple from the side, it's the donut from the top, and again referencing the galactic core coming up, and 2 pi and 2 salt, right? So pi is the circle with the vertical line, and salt is the circle with the horizontal line. So they were both coming up together. And I will show you these next pictures that I did come into. So I forget which message it was, because I'm doing Instagram posts, and I was just did the 12 signs on my other channel, Evelyn Stainthorpe, and then on my twin flame messages. So I don't know which one it came up on. But the energy of, I was getting the, Mo was coming up, and the bowl haircut, which was coming up as the masculine being connected to the galactic center, but the feminine, no, not the top of her head, but she was bowing over and exposing her, the bottom of her skull at the back of her neck, which was then coming up as soon as I went online, hippocampus came up. So I was getting the hippocampus being connected to source, not the central, the galactic central, but actual source through the sun, the organic sun, our sun, like going through it. But then there's a portal, you know, into source, which is everything. So, and again, that was coming up on that 90-degree angle, right? I guess one going to Saggy A, and then one going to the sun, and Sirius was working its way in there too. But I'm sure there's going to be more messages coming up around that. But the GC of the C being the whispering bench, and then G is the C with the T, the top dog on it. And then we have GD also coming up, because the D is the other C, right? Can't have the C without the D, because the D brings in the line in the middle, and then the other C, which then makes the pi. So salt. Why Salt 2 Never Happened came up. So that was the movie that came up online regarding salt, which was Evelyn Salt. And ion can be monatomic, such as fluoride, which is coming up as F minus, or poly like sulfate, which was coming up as SO2 to 4. So anyway, I was going through some of the compounds of salt. So sodium chloride, which is the NaCl, and magnesium sulfate. So there's all these different kinds of salts. And this was interesting because it said they are colorless or white because the constituent cations and anions do not absorb light in the part of the spectrum that's visible to humans. Very interesting. So the different salts, there's salty salt, there's sweet salt, but the sweet salt gives you lead poisoning. And then I was getting the reference of the leadership poisoning under sweet salt. And then bitter salt comes up as magnesium sulfate. Sour salt is potassium bitartrate. And then savory salt is monosodium glutamate. So salt solutions also conduct electricity and can be used therefore as electrolytes. So there was sodium phosphate mono, di, and tribasic, and the dibasic was coming up as significant because I kept getting salt 2. And the sodium phosphate dibasic is Na2, HPO4, which is the same for all three. So then I was doing a drawing. Teddy, can you relax, please? Relax, it's okay. Okay, I'll be done in a little while. Okay? I love you. Thank you. So we have the circle with the line down the middle, which is pi, which is the sweet pi, which is balanced, that sweet spot of 4 to 7. And again, that energy of the lead or the lead poisoning or the leadership poisoning. And then the salt was coming up as the one off balanced. Right? So the pi is sweet and balanced, but it's also poison because of the leadership. But the salt is not balanced. It's the opened lock, right? Because pi is the closed lock, and then you turn the key. Salt is the open lock, which then throws it off balance. But the key is the 90 degrees because it comes up as half of the 90 degrees. So the L was coming up, and the 360 degrees of the longitude of the galactic center, and then the 90 degrees of the latitude of, it's 90 degrees either way, of the latitude, I'm not sure exactly how that works, of the galactic center, which is the square. And remember 360, 36 is also Atlas and the weight of the world, but also the map of intent. So it was coming up as all the squares here, and I'm going to show you the picture. So of this here, all right? So you have pi here, salt here, and then the combination in the L, right, left at the right angle, how this is that, then that galactic center, because we have this then becomes a curve over here. That is the arc second that's measured in the distance measured between the Earth and the different stars or planets that you're trying to measure distance for. So here we have a square, except one corner is softened, right, because it's really empty there. But it's that 90-degree angle accentuating that. And then we have this L reflected over here, which then, if you turn it, becomes the double diamond, all right? So you have the masculine, the feminine, and then the supernova star going down the middle. All right, so the X. So instead of being the square or the cross, it then becomes the X, which then I turned it right side up so you could see that. All right, it's this energy here, but then it's turning it so that you can see it. You turn it an eighth because the square becomes the diamond shape. You have one human here, and then that supernova energy that the two combined make, that super energy. So it's coming up as the outside 360-degree circle of that, and then the inside is the sword. And remember, in alchemy, the masculine is the sword or the triangle of change, where the feminine is the circle of shape. And then there's this energy of the laterally radiating out, and then the circle of the longitudinal spiraling around in the crazy eight stance. Like the propellers, you know, that go in two different directions at the same time to keep the helicopters up. Or in Avatar is a perfect example of that. The propeller is spinning 360 degrees in that illusion of a full circle. And then the butterfly cluster was coming up, M6. In order to see the butterfly cluster in the galactic center, you must observe using gamma rays in order to see them. So then the 4 nights were coming up. The 4 nights with the square and the 90 degrees, which is also 25, right? Quarters, or 1/4, the square. So the 4 nights were coming up as the red root of the summer, of war and orange and red. And then the fall of the yellow and green of infection as we move into the winter. And then the dark night as the indigo purple moon, right? Going from indigo to violet as they move into white, which then becomes the birthing of the white in the spring. The lightness, where each 90 degrees to come full circle, 360 degrees, with 25 4 times, or the Knight of Wands times 4, learning to slow their roll. A quarter at a time, a square at a time. The 2 winners turn, but instead of a quarter, they have to turn each an eighth to come towards each other to make the X, or that diamond shape. They turn each way towards each other, leveling up to dreams and diamond light, where the X marks the spot, and X is also the chromosome. The 0 point field, 4 hermits with source support and 1 map of the 10 of Wands, which is that 36, and Atlas, the weight of the world, and the 4 of Cups, which is that energy of 44, or the Hercules energy. So the 10 wands then gives the 4 knights 2.5 wands each, and then the 4 cups each gets 1 cup. And then 10-4 comes up as message received between Atlas and Hercules, or at angels, her harvest. Or at angles, at the left angle, right? Left at the right angle, her harvest. So I am then came, Teddy, can you please stop? I'll help you when I'm done. Please stop, okay? You know I'll take care of you when I'm done, okay? Can you be a good boy, please? I can't give you my attention right now. You have to wait, okay? I'll be done soon, okay? So, I'm sorry. There's no reason to be complaining. He's sitting down now. He's being better. Okay. So again, we come down to I am and I am. So the feminine I am and the masculine I am with an E. I mean the feminine, she is I am, which comes up as the A and the E, like Adam and Eve, or the ash between them, the bright light, where then the infinity symbol comes up as the outer 2 halves are the independent selves of I am, and then the middle is AE, and the other side is MI. So I am, the ash or bright light at the center, MI, right, the reflection of oneself. And then Maria comes up again as Mar Ea, the sea of Ea. Lord Ki, or the earth, Terra. And Enki, N for me is code Christ, and the key again is Terra, the Christ key, where then Poseidon has the trident, which the trident is half of Phi. So what is the opposite of the trident when it's upside down? Well, that's Zeus's thunderbolt as he bangs the ground. So we have Poseidon with his trident holding it up, right? So one is of the heavens and one is of the earth. But when you put them together, you get the phi energy, as opposed to the E and the 3 come together to make the salt, and the M and the W come together to make the pie, the sweet pie. So the E and the 3 is the salt of the earth. The W and the M are the pie in the sky. And it's not the regular W and M, but the curved circle with the line down the middle. The M and the W, pie in the sky. And then the phi energy is heaven and earth, so high. I am Adam and Eve am I, salt of the earth and pie in the sky, to evolve to phi of heaven and earth, Jesus and Maria, or Jesus and Mary, Jeez, us, and Ma, Arai, in the 3 C's of Y, which then becomes that Mercedes symbol, right? The Y with the circle around it. To evolve in the sea of endless love. CY also means to, or here. And the T, so that the TY comes up with then the source in the middle, the T, the top dog in the middle, becoming CTY, which is then the city of Man was coming up. And first thing this morning, I didn't sleep last night, but at 6:33, I made a sound, and so loud I heard this bird just start tweeting at me from outside my house. It was like clear as a bell, so pure and sweet. And there was this energy of AI versus IA, which I'll have to draw that up too. It's not really understandable the way it is. All right, so here's the message of the day from today. This was done at 10:27 to 10:30 this morning. The Journey of Love, Metatron, Nature's Whisper, and the Shaman deck. And I don't have the picture for you because on my phone, which I'm using, so I can't even show it to you. I'm sorry about that. I'll have to post it for you. I have the nope, I don't even have that one on the table. I apologize. But I do tell you all the cards, so we'll just have to go with that. The messages are great, and I'll post the pictures on the tag for you guys. So the Journey of Love at 10:27, again, is the 27 of today, which is my Queen's Gambit and the Vesica Pisces energy. And then 28, which is the 2 of Wands, the Twin Flames and Metatron, the 29 of the 3 of Wands in Nature, the 30 of the 4 of Wands in the Shaman. And the cards at the end of the deck, so the underlying energies are usually on the left, and then I pull 3 cards, and I have the extra cards at the end that want to come out organically, and I use them for numbers and to finish the read. So the numbers came out 1112 and 2212. Co-creating higher self, the leap of faith into the Evolove, or the Evo love of the divine masculine and feminine, of justice and wisdom, an open heart and 5D station of the divine masculine and divine feminine as escorts of 6D and 5D and a whole new world. And 5D I always get is the 5D station, right? So you cross the 4D bridge to the 5D station, which is a jump off point to anywhere else. And then the 6D is instant manifestation. So we start at 10:35 with the Wheel of Fortune and the Wounded Warrior. The underlying energy of the 52, which is the Queen of Swords, and the Ancient Ones. The 29 of Blue, the 26 of Being True to Your Heart, and the 57 of the Unmarked Trail. With the Queen of Swords, Receiver of Light from the Sun, the Ancient Ones, Lady Liberty, Athena, aka Hercules, taking the hit to dampen the blow for the rest of us. Blue Madonna, a serious one, present to gifts and holding alignment with Sirius so that Lady Liberty can be more anchored in. Then Maria comes up again, Mar Ea, right, the Sea of Ea. Enki, Lord of Terra, Christ consciousness key, Poseidon, or the positive side on. The trident, reflecting itself, is Phi, as heaven on earth, Jesus and Maria, I, Zeus of the thunderbolts, and Ea of the sea, the deep blue sea, the saline that is the ultrasonic resonance permeating all crevices on this planet, the 26 of the Page of Wands in Newton's cradle, to be true to yourself as you resonate through it. Earthy one with lion's heart, mane and peacock eyes, to fan the flame. Fire and Isis and the ancient ones, and Mother Gift, the fiery child, with the labyrinth of the unmarked trail, God's rail, and revelations along the way. Nature's vice grip as you discern which path to travel and lesson to learn as the screws tighten around the coal. And then coat came up, which is what Teddy's complaining about. We cut off 2 knots behind his ears, so he should be fine. He was fine until I started my video. So which happens when you go to the orthodontist, right? You get your braces tightened in order for your teeth to shift. But there is an end to this. When the diamond in the rough exposes itself as you discover your 4th part, as in the 4 nights and the 5 salts of red-orange summer with sacral root war, yellow-green fall with orange to yellow solar heart infection, to dark night in the winter of indigo violet and purple moon, the deep indigo, not black, but with the lunacy of seeing the crown and the 3 batons that go between, right, in the 4 parts of the race. And then comes white, and the white night in the spring becomes the rose, risen each 90 degrees square, a quarter with 3 batons, the 25, or the Knight of Wands times 4, learning to slow their roll and come full circle 360 degrees, or salty flavors, salty summer, sweet poison in the fall, bitter and sour come winter, but savory in the spring, having marinated through it all, and no aftertaste, and electrifying electrolytes, the galactic center with latitudes and platitudes of 90-degree angles, left at the right angle, and long circles of swords and stones, as pi is M and W, sweet and balanced, that 4 to 7 sweet spot to the 7 key, with lead poisoning due to leadership position, and salty, which is 8, is coming up as 8 with the E and the 3, but off balance until they count to 10. The 2 winners turn towards each other, an 8th each way, leveling up to dreams and diamond light, where X marks the spot, 0-point field of the crazy 8's dance at 11:11, 4 hermits with source support, and 1 map of the 10 of Wands and 4 of Cups, 2.5 wands each, and each with 1 cup, 10-4 message received between Atlas and Hercules, or at angels or angles, is her harvest. I am he, I am she. AE, ash, bright light between. I am Adam, Eve, the AE in the middle, am I. E and 3, salt of the earth, M and W, pie in the sky, and with Maria, C of Ea, JC, key, and terraform, Poseidon with half or phi and earth, as his trident is reflected by Zeus's thunderbolt. Z and P, zap, to become phi, expanding and contracting and reflecting, di-gamma, twin flames. In the eye chakra system, electrical, you know, heavens, Jesus, earth and sea, Maria, Jesus and Mary, Geez, it's us, and Ma, awry, in 3 C's of Y, and CY, which equals 2, here now, evolving with the T in the middle to the sea of endless love in city or city of man, CTY. Pi is the lock, salt is the open, half of 90 degrees is the key in arc seconds, as you need gamma ray to observe the butterfly cluster or hang out in the quad and reflect to the center. As the double diamond crazy eights in a supernova experience at 1128, in the 24th pair of chromosomes, X dance. The underlying energy of the 59 of the temple of Lady Liberty, where a pair of angels stand at her feet at 1130, which is aligning with union, with the Pleiadian ships hovering over the Atlantean etheric altar above the Statue of Liberty. The 51 of the King of Swords, to dream a little here, as she is circling back around in chakras, and he in the cloak of the 10 of Cups fulfilling family, and the 60 of Peace of the 6 of Swords, and indigo, the indigos and magentas, riding the cosmic wave as she addresses the ancient ones, the mighty sentinels who stand tall before her in the haze of the light, the purple haze, where the 10 then comes up in 3 to 1, aligning with the wounded warrior in surrender, in the zone, the Z, 1, 3, 2, 1, then count to 10, destined completion to step into the next cycle. And remember, my Evie's lock is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is the first pod, then 6, 7, 8, 9 is the second pod, and then 10 then moves you on to the next cycle. 65 is the King of Pentacles and the breaking of the fall, as she arches to rise and he folds in upon himself, which is her as they envelope inside out, through and through. Your mission, page bond, if you choose to accept it, say the mighty sentinels, as she arches to receive the light, is to hold that position and see yourselves in the vortex, causing the breaking, the fire break and loophole to join, tie, merge, more than a bond, 007, two humans with key, 2-7. Today, the Queen's Gambit, her pawn, her page to tempt the king to merge their kingdoms. The flame is today, 27 is the Ace of Wands, and the Vesica Pisces of the two spheres coming together, which is represented by the pi, the circle with a line down the middle, which then flips inside out through and through, which then becomes the Pisces symbol, insinuates a third when two circles come together in shared seas to create a third energy from 27 to 37 of the King of Cups in unconditional love, of fire and ice as he sees the light at the end of the tunnel, divided in red and oranges and blues and purples, like seeing the headlights in the crash, seeing stars in the chaos of 31, the 5 of Wands and the Christed flame, all he's been through these 2023 after-death days, 80 days around the world, and now falling, not fast, but light as a feather, in the patience of an angel and a higher love. Evolove. A black feather here, as I had a huge flock of crows on my front lawn at 9 a.m., reminiscent of the scarecrow. And 9 a.m., the hermit, am. So anti-M in a vortex. So what actually happened there while Dorothy was away? As anti-M is M, because Dorothy's not talking to Grace. So when mentioning her name, she doesn't. She just tells us anti-M. But the fact is, my sister got a call from our second cousin Tony to come to Maryland, which Mary is my mother's name, to have my mother's famous apple pie that my sister had made, but I didn't know about. And now we're related because my maternal grandmother is Dorothy, and there's her sister Grace, saving face as the son-in-law she never wanted, generously hosted with his 3 sons. But -1. So Tony and Steve, but no John, but there was actually a very nice bathroom in a self-designed chalet with open windows to the bay. So you see, we have rejoined our families, where Dorothy clicking her heels 3 times may equate to the fireworks display we got to see while driving home on 95. Discovering the witch's monk keys on the way, as our monk Matthew had the keys and was tailgating or spreading out the storylines and fairy tales, as the My 3 Sons happened to all be in show business. We had the cooking show, where the chef must allocate a job to each guest, and a few entertainers, good for a laugh without taking a retainer, and of course a friendly photographer to capture our smiles all the while, from Pasadena to Cheltenham. Are you sure we weren't in California or England? Well, we do have English relatives, and I am an English patient, and Dorothy's father did make his way across the U.S. and native territory to meet Levi Strauss and mine some gold on the way, create a small castle for his son in Sacramento, as well as Weinstock, Lubin and Company after a one-price store, to then leave the business to half-brother at 1221 to go feeding the world, roaming in Italy with Italian kings and French presidents, as John is actually in Italy now, the missing one. So after his wife as well had an affair with the mayor of Sacramento. So I digress. But David Lubin does impress, finally getting credit as number 44 of the laureate speech of 1907's Nobel Peace Prize, the Italian king taking all the credit for his work, on the way to see the wizard, the French president, where the Italian king didn't even want to do what David wanted to do, so he went to the French president to get his help, and he liked the idea. So he came back to the Italian president, who then implemented David's building, which then was in Rome, called, his book is Feeding the World, and the building in Rome was called Villa Lubin. They changed that, I think it was about 10 years ago, but his floor is still within the building. So what was actually going on with Auntie M? Well, remember, I am and I am, by the grace of God, came baby Ruth, who had the same soul number as me, 38. And now Grace lived to 100, but wore Ruth out. But baby Ruth did get to have one last romance with one from her past returning. So Dorothy did miss a lot when she was gone, as her bladder and liver gave out to the C word. No, not Poseidon, silly. But did Dorothy know Prometheus? Actually, she was a bird watcher, and Grace loved to talk. Dr. Dorothy and physicist Grace do have G and D in common with God and dogs, as the underlying energy next is the 34 with the ancestors in energetic exchange, bringing in appreciation and healing, as I talked about them, the 43 of the 3 of Cups and coming together to heal, and the 27 again is today, the Queen's Gambit and Vesica Pisces, the Rainbow Bridge with Metatron under Michael's wings, or the wind beneath Bet's wings, as she springs up the rose as a gift from Mother Mary on this slalom, or Simon Says, occasion, or OK shun, or tie on, that source connection, or tiger lioness connection. Mother Mary comes to me, let it be. A serious gift, the Rainbow Bridge, a page in our own book. So then the 32 of the Tree of Life came up, the journey from orange to gold, from ego to God, the 14 of boundaries of patient nature and auric keys, set them daily as 2 peas on the path east to the sun, and a destined new dawn in the valley of the sun, with Sagittarius and Libra, each came up twice already as 10 and 14 and 10 and 14, with the 55 of the Truth and Excalibur, and red, the Truth, and a lot of native peace pipes at Thanksgiving, and TP and how, as this depiction of Native American, as the picture I was looking at of a Native American on the card, the shaman, had my grandmother Dorothy's profile, and Christ was above him in the fall, extending an invite with truth and triumph to the 9 of the hermit and the chariots of fire, where land meets sea and movement is needed, as Virgo pipes in with the pipe at the galactic center next to the butterfly. So catch your breath with number 15 at 120, which is the Magician and the Judgment card. The number 2 of illumination, 8 of the breakthrough, 12 of expansion, 26 of being true to your heart. In the shadow, hug a tree for higher self. And eagles came up in an eagle's shirt right after that, as I just talked about Prometheus and his liver that gets picked up in the heavens. So the 2 of Capricorn and Pisces, an illumination then came up there, the illumination. And then First Nations came up, and there was Mel popping up again. Butterflies to the moon, and 2 degrees of the South Node in Libra, a galactic center next year, 2024, or the dark side of the moon, in an 8 breakthrough of 2 and 8, which is then the 28 of the twin flames, in a dance with the sea, the dance of the butterflies, number 24 chromosomes, and the daughter of Ea that rise and arch. As an agreement is made, expansion of 2 mountains coming together with double rainbows, a little girl and a dear one escorting him in to handfast before she disappears. With 4 and 4 hot air balloons, perhaps Dorothy sent the wizard to hang out with Agent 26, Newton's Cradle, or Newtown perhaps, or Ruthie sends her love. At 133, the identical cousins all the way. And I love baby Ruths. With Capricorn, Pisces, Virgo, Leo here, and female relations. The 39 of the Knight of Cups and the Russian connection, with a blanket of snow and clear endeavor, clinging to the vine in a small village or winter wonderland. From Goldilocks with Lion's Heart to the Spy Who Loved Me, as 42 comes up, and that's my dad. Or Madison, Wisconsin, the 2 of Cups and Peacock is blushing pure orange. Let love be your beacon, or be lighter. Or a con, perhaps, as my sister was coming up, Connie. As the 42 is also me and my sister, our outer personality, as the Page of Wands and the Knight of Cups come together in the woods to grandmother's house. Or perhaps in the Diary of Anne Frank was coming up. The 30 of home, of union adventure, and daughter's life lesson, watching Spain and African bridge, or Italy and out of Africa, as algae is transferred by conch shell or phone call, spiraling in sequence from the horn of your shoe or boot, the horns of Italy and Africa, Ethiopia and Somalia was coming up, which Somalia is a number 7 shape, and the Gulf of Aden, which was coming up as Adan, A-N, which is also another way of writing Adam. And Ethiopia's shape is like the square that I just showed to you, with one corner being circular. So my Vesica Pisces comes up here as the Q and then the 7 becoming the 2 circles together, or is nestled. So this was coming up as Ethiopia nestled in Somalia as the Vesica Pisces in the cradle of Somalia, and then the wine connoisseur was coming up, and the Indian Ocean there, where the ocean on the map actually looks like a shaman who's got his arms reaching in Aden all the way to the Red Sea, and then Yemen, there are men there, and then Oman are there men there, as the 26 and 27 are the cradle and pawn to 7 in the gambit. The Italian horn is the cornicello protection, and North Africa is actually a fish in North Africa, where Senegal is the nose, number 26 of Newton's cradle, and Somalia is the tail, 27 of the Queen's Gambit. And then the cradle of the world is supposed to be Mesopotamia. But they're trying to make me see that Africa is the motherland. And remember, the land has moved around a lot, right? All of the, where Senegal is the Appalachian Mountains is actually Appalachian Mountains, because that land split away from the United States. So the cradle of civilization was coming up. And like I said, that shaman, which is the ocean shape, is of a shaman with the left hand going into the Red Sea and the right hand going into the Persian Gulf. But also the Gibraltar Strait was coming up, right? Wherever there's like this, this bottleneck energy was coming up. The cradle of civilization is supposed to be where Iraq, Iran, Kuwait, Syria, and Turkey is right now, which was Asia Minor as well. But Africa is also, one of the definitions of Africa is the motherland. But the nose of a Senegal, it literally, Senegal definitely looks like a face of a person and is right at the nose. So it was coming up as the nose to the tail of the fish at Ethiopia, or where the 7 is. So then the shaman, I was looking at the shaman, and actually it was coming up as the Twin Peaks. Because there's 2 shamans there, and there's Twin Peaks between them. But the peaks, the mountains, are the water, not the land. The 2 shamans are the 2 mountains, and it's coming as the valley between the mountains is between the Arabian Sea and the Bay of Bengal, which at the peak, or the lowland of the valley is Sri Lanka right there, where they have the right arm in the Andaman Sea and the left arm in the Lakshadweep Sea, which is left of Sri Lanka. So the Mediterranean Sea has many 2 shamans between Spain and Turkey. And again, the shamans are the water, not the land. And then also between Brazil and Senegal is another huge bottleneck where the land had actually split from each other, right? We had the Appalachian Mountains at one point. And actually, Brazil and Senegal literally looked like 2 faces, you know, longing for each other. So then getting back to the cards, the 36 of intuition at 255, which is the higher self and the truth of the Excalibur. And Esther Williams was coming up here with Atlas. And Esther Williams is all about sink or swim. With Atlas and activated by Shaman and Christ, S and C, right? The shaman being Mary Magdalene, Sophia energy. Sophia and Christ coming together with the map of intent, and there's that reference to the shaman again, in a tent, with healing hands. Her thinking cap on and his healing hands. He on the desert, she in the water. At the head of straits. And then Poland and Ukraine were coming up, where the desert there, that's not supposed to be there, we're having a war, because the arc below there was activated. Where the desert meets the sea, which is the beach, the red and the blue, and I love you, and Lucy was then coming up there, and Desi, or Dizzy, and the sea, and seasickness was also coming up there. The Christ energy and the shaman energy of Mary Magdalene and Esther Williams, the 37 of the Magician's Sword, and the 39 of the Knight of Cups, having a metox, or a shaman's bath. As the King of Cups and the Knight of Cups are with the 3, which can be the eagle soaring or the Empress, benefactor of grace and generosity in the mushroom, enjoying the show, with the 50 of the 10 of Cups and the Spirit of the River and movement towards adventure, as it's time to move towards them. And again, perhaps there could be parents who suddenly have, you know, older people who suddenly have issues or having trouble dealing with the energies coming in, and perhaps children all of a sudden have to move closer to their parents who may be ailing. The 57 is coming up as amazing grace of revelations and the unmarked trail, perhaps screwed in separation, as the 60 comes up at 314, and there's pi again, as the watchers are the Tyon, the desert couple of the ancestors watching, the Tyon, the tiger lioness totem in the desert, where Tony the tiger comes up and Leo the lion under pressure. As the 62 of restriction, but with will-o'-the-wisp, which is the release, with treasures hidden within, and the 24 of the Queen of Wands, galactic mushroom, with bubble brain, and the Queen of Wands and galactic matrix there. It's like a brain that unraveled to expose the shaman seed within the head. The heart coming up with green and red and water, sea, galactic fluorescence, and then 15 of the shadow or Capricorn, the dust devil stirring things up. The 34 then of the energetic exchange of the king of the hill finally making it to the top, having the lay of the land, perhaps Uluru coming up there, with ancestral wisdom, an energetic exchange or arrows of love of your galactic friends. And then again, Mother Mary came to me, let it be, with this squeeze here that you're feeling the big push. In the tunnel, 3 to 1, or Libra and journeying on, as it's in the South Node, traveling galactically to purify for the Russian connection and Ukraine desert pressure being squeezed. The Knight of Cups with peace. The King of Pentacles in the breaking in to get on path of a higher love, and 42 with the Two of Cups and 62's release of treasures. The King of Cups sees the light following the sun for destined Libra new dawn, and sunshine was coming up. Got to the end of the tunnel and saw the sun bridging mountains and waterways as the King of Cups Libra home, with the Queen of Wands peeling back the crown to get to the shaman seed, or perhaps pineal and hippocampus. The group following the Christ flame, or the white man's plight, seeking thanksgiving treaties, with the feminine crown working overtime to map out the desert grid points from watery or hallowed ground, kicking things up to get things moving, patient, light as a feather, falling, movement needed for hermit, patient hermit or Virgo in energetic exchange with the King of the Hill and the lay of the land, and then the Aussie comes up, which is my teddy bear there, and desert crop circles. So what did the crop circles have to do with my teddy bear? But anyway, desert crop circles were coming up, or the symbolisms in some way, perhaps that look like crop circles. But the desert, the beach, and shadows were coming up at 4:15, which is tax day. And then again, the taxing energies, and Big Bird, gifting you perhaps a feather, as I told you about the black feather in the card from all the crows that showed up here this morning. A desert, a beach, birds, angels, and your galactic friends. So they're showing me that they're going into wounding, not just from here in our past, but our galactic past and future. So you're going to be connecting more with your galactic energies here. It's very interesting. So let's get right into the message on the table. Okay, and then we have, just make sure, yeah, we have the Hanging Man and the recent past there. We have Reason, which is the Emperor and the underlying energies. We have the Hanging Man, Justice, Strength, and Karma, which is the Judgment card, and Solar Deity, which is the Sun. And then after the read here, we have the Moon or Luna. There were 2 cups, 2 pentacles, 1 wand, and 1 sword. So 22 again of the 5D and 11 of the 6D are being reinforced here. We have the Page of Cups and the Queen of Pentacles. And prior to the read, the 9 of Swords and the Page of Pentacles. The numbers came up triple threes and triple tens. So 333 or 369, which is also 3D, 4D and 5D, right? The 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then the 10, 10, 10, which is that really high vibration pushing us into the new cycle. We have 23 of the King of Wands, 78 of the 10 of Pentacles, right? Heaven on earth. And 1, 2, 3 leap was also coming up here with 34 in that arrows of love. 47 of the sweet spot, 4 to 7. 7 being key, the crown. And then we have 8, 9 of Phi and 9, 10, beginning again. Every time you go off balance or go outside yourself, come back to the heart and the present moment. So the code line here is all about the 5 coming from 3 and 2. And it was coming up as southeast to seek E, which is 1 equal and congruent to, or to see the key of the 3 of the Empress. And then Han, as in Han Solo, came up, which is also the Happiness Hotel, right? The inn, the roadside shelter, the Fleabag Hotel. To have, to own, a song, river, duck. It always comes up as an inn where you can eat different body parts, like wings and also ginger, and ducks in the lake next to it. To snore, hand, arm, foreleg, wing comes up. To scream loudly, scribble, branch, and to appear. Suddenly seeking Susan, perhaps, or 1 equal and congruent to the high road of energy exchange, the hours of love, lots of back and forth or energy at the Happiness Hotel. The 2 of Cups of soulmates, of the southern sun or salty one, or the salty seeker, the Empress or 3, to have and to hold, the connection of Sophia and sun. The Page and the Empress at the Happiness Hotel with the salty sun. So we have the Page of Cups as the underlying energy reversed, and beneath that was the 9 of Swords upright, the Page of Pentacles reversed, the 10 of Swords upright, the 3 of Swords upright, and Reason or the Emperor reversed. The suffering in silence or stress, in need of help, the never-ending pain or painful ending or in ending pain, heartache or separation, with the Emperor reversed and the Page of Wands reversed, or is that his own inner child? Arrogance or sadness, with the Empress reversed, keeping their cards close to their chest about a move or a visit or their own instability or losing their home, as we have both the Emperor and the Empress reversed here. As the Queen of Wands is upright, maybe looking out for a pet or Leo, or she is Leo, and the Queen of Cups reversed is seeking justice, or leakage here perhaps. Perhaps changing an adult diaper, as the Page of Cups reversed is coming up as an injustice, with Aries, Taurus, and Libra all reversed, but Leo upright, and the Queen of Wands being the lookout, while perhaps clinging or changing the Queen of Cups reversed. As the Emperor and the Empress reversed are in a standoff here, perhaps neither is budging, or perhaps both of them are just not well, or dealing with a child or a grandchild perhaps between them. As the recent past here is the Hanging Man reversed, being like a kid in a candy store here with so many choices and wanting them all, or no balance, and alerted to the Page of Swords reversed, Hermit reversed, and the Knight of Pentacles reversed. Perhaps they've been scamming or dumping stuff, perhaps in the High Priestess's bag when they weren't looking, so then when they would check out, they could get in trouble for trying to steal something. So there could be some kids, pranking someone, whether it's a sister or, an adult with them, putting stuff in their bags, so be careful of that. Perhaps at the register, or kids up to no good or pranking, hanging with their grandparents, perhaps a grandparent with Alzheimer's, or a sister act. As the Page of Cups reversed, maybe suddenly awake and screaming, because that could be a baby crying, and the foundation of the 3 of Pentacles reversed with issues at work or school, holding back a call or announcement until they find peace with the Wounded Warrior reversed, surrendering to their conscience or deception. As Pisces or Capricorn reversed, Virgo reversed, or Pisces or Virgo upright, and Aquarius or Cancer reversed, or perhaps they left without calling or without notice, surrendering before dawn or to deception, and the central energy is the Queen of Pentacles reversed with issues at work and released with a big realization, or woke up late, or awakened to the Magician or Gemini standing over them, telling them how it is or how it's going to be, or presenting evidence or DNA, and challenged by the 2 of Cups reversed, and disconnect or at a distance, in a breakup perhaps, or a painful ending, or just in a lot of pain, or as this has been going on for a long, long time. As the 9 of Swords and 10 of Swords are both there together with the patient angel, or stressed out with no sleep, or awoke with pins and needles in their back, or perhaps they're an inpatient, or committed perhaps drugged, or slept like a rock. As the Queen of Pentacles reversed may be challenged by the 2 of Cups reversed. Despite pain and anguish, and a very patient angel, The Queen of Swords may be speaking to the King of Wands, both upright, and now crowning is the injustice of the Nine of Pentacles, Ten of Pentacles, and King of Pentacles all reversed, which can be a very dysfunctional family or someone who has a big expense to pay, which could be a nursing facility, but it also could be someone who lost time, money, and energy, and that would then affect the whole family. Or the King of Pentacles reversed and the Nine of Pentacles reversed, losing everything, as the Pisces, Capricorn, and Libra reversed with the Page of Wands, Ace of Wands, and Ace of Swords reversed, all three of them. And then I was getting liar, liar, pants on fire, with the King of Cups reversed, present, with the Page of Pentacles reversed, or one in need of help, as the Page of Pentacles may be breaking a commitment with the Knight of Cups upright, who can't get any information out of the one at work, as loving as they are. Perhaps this person with a clean reputation is defenseless to an ultimatum or choice that needs to be made now. Perhaps someone needs to be bailed out. Soon here is the Strength card upright, birthing through the Ring of Fire and walks away from death. Perhaps the Queen of Swords is patient long enough, talking to the King of Wands, and who they may be walking over anyone in their way, or that could be a separate Scorpio there. With third party, Queen of Pentacles reversed, held over their head, or sudden death or ending and coming clean, or in a sudden death, cleans up the act or space. Fire in Scorpio, or Scorpio or Dark Knight, suddenly cleans up the yard, or does an estimate perhaps. You know, this could be someone hurrying up to do stuff that they haven't gotten done yet. Perhaps they're behind. So the twin flames are coming up as the Eight of Wands reversed in a heated exchange, or dealing with delay after delay, ending conflict and destined detox. As the lovers are upright, starting over, coming around from a distance, as the Knight of Wands, which came up in my messages today, ×4, rushing in to save the day, with Libra and Gemini, Pisces and Saggy upright, but Capricorn reversed. Around the twins, or how they're seen, is Karma reversed, or the King of Swords, Aquarius reversed, perhaps unable to sleep or rising early, or not sleeping with them, or the Fool upright and free from the Page of Cups reversed, which could be a screaming baby, rejection or child, or again, like Teddy whining, a pet dropping the ball, or perhaps fell hard or tripped up, or Aries leaving the King of Swords reversed and the Page of Cups reversed behind gladly, to rush in from a distance to save the damsel. As the block here is the Seven of Swords reversed and a need to pass on messages, with the Ten of Cups upright and the Chariot upright with the Emperor reversed between, which can be someone who's not doing well, someone stepping down from power, or it could be someone abusing their power. And you could be watching movies about this stuff as well. Perhaps there's a happy family here, or assessing the worth of this happy family, or is it the sham fam, with the Emperor reversed abusing his power and taking the care. So he may be this is a difficult situation. It could be a couple where they both have health issues, and perhaps one's been taking care of the other, and now neither one of them can take care of each other. So there may be a bold move that needs to be made here, or moving someone into a home. The injustice exposed of the Queen of Pentacles reversed, perhaps with bad influences, or perhaps made a bad decision, or third party, or gossiping and exposing all here. Exposing or energizing an offer, or diamond in the rough. Groundbreaking lunacy, and then I'm getting the Happiness Hotel again with the groundbreaking lunacy, with Gonzo jumping out of the plane. With perhaps there's some drunk friends here, and of course with Thanksgiving weekend that always happens, or the past returns to recover, or offer a choice or ultimatum, or willing to slave. The Knight of Swords reversed, no longer a slave driver, or holding their tongue, with Star or Healer, or for their dreams to come true, exposing a plant, and no reunion, or no rest, and burdened by the Ten of Pentacles reversed, dysfunctional family, which can be a loss as well. Or again, like I said, somebody's illness could have increased, and now you have to do something about it. This could be dealing with a family, business, or community, or legacy. A plant exposed, and then that was Teddy's knots behind his ears. First it was his left ear, and then his right ear later. a bad influence, back from break, back into their work, or slaving for the Ten of Pentacles reversed, finishing the job without complaints, expecting payment when complete, watching the dream girl, the healer or star and child, Aquarius and Leo, or imagining them naked, or perhaps they are naked in their yard, outside watering plants or playing with their pet night and day, without getting paid, or delays, not responding, but happy to pay if they do respond. With the Emperor reversed and the Page of Cups reversed, with issues at work and delay after delay, and need to swallow their pride or awake to their ego, with the Queen of Pentacles reversed, challenged by not seeing eye to eye, but being strong and cleaning up the injustice of sunshine and exposure and breaking their stuff, deception or up early and not socializing, or no reunion. After break, they'll finish the work and get paid. As the Ace of Swords, Nine of Swords, Page of Pentacles, and Ten of Swords comes up with the Ace of Swords reversed, and perhaps someone unable to sleep, awakening, or not sleeping with someone here, we have this energy of lies or divide, and that can be a split as well. With the Nine of Swords stress of the Page of Pentacles reversed in need of help, in a painful ending, or never-ending pain, stress, or lack of sleep and disappointment, with the Emperor reversed and the Page of Cups reversed, or the Emperor rejected, or with a small child, the Page of Cups reversed, awakened or on alert about issues at work, with the Queen of Pentacles reversed and the injustice, challenged by the Two of Cups reversed, breakup or disconnect, and constant blocks or not being told, causing delays and a breakthrough after walking away, a birth, a death, or a rebirth, with suddenly cleaning up the act to assess the worth of poor judgment or a bad call or no call, or needing to pass on information, fully disclose the amount of payment in error, and a need to come together and rise above, to come back to finish the work and see the light at the end of the road and get paid at 11:11. The underlying energy of the 23 of the Wise Owl, and then the 25 again of the Knight of Wands Phoenix rising from the ashes, and the Chariot of the fireworks of the cracker rising from the ashes with fireworks display, as like I said, we saw fireworks driving home on 95, the Wounded Warrior getting their wish, the King of Wands, Knight of Wands, Wounded Warrior, and the Chariot, excitement of the unfolding of the heart, from root to heart, with the crown blasting open. And that was the end of that message. So let's just pull one final card. We'll pull from Fortune's Oracle. Let's see what comes up for you guys. And I'm getting the library. And again, the living library could be coming up. So Akashic Records, but galactic records coming up here. Going into galactic wounds, galactic lives, galactic family, perhaps reunions with galactic families, right? And we're all from everywhere. So it's not just one place. Perhaps for somebody it's one place, but that's not the norm. Most of us have been around quite a bit. All right, so for the twin flames, what is our takeaway from all of this? What is our takeaway? Okay. Proposal. So there's that Vesica Pisces energy, or the two rings coming together. A romantic or business opportunity is indicated, and there we have the 27 again, which is today's date. The Queen's Gambit, which I'll have to post right after this. My Queen's Gambit. Queen's Gambit and Vesica Pisces, the linking of the rings, the binding of the pages, and there's the eagle picking at Prometheus's liver, and EA's glee, the Nine of the Hermit. You will soar towards your destiny with greater clarity and strength. Again, soaring across the mountains that we just talked about, all the mountains. And you see, even in this picture, they look like arms reaching in to the mountains here. That's kind of cool. I didn't notice that before. And then we have the lion coming up again, too, with the 16, which is the tower of sudden events. That sudden longing, right? The holy place of longing, of the Evolove. And we have SIRIAN energy, Lyran energy coming in. And then Aquila could be coming up, as well as harnessing the loyal and protective aura of the lion, and charge ahead magnificently. And these two look like they're coming together. Now I'm getting South America, Brazil to, what was it, Senegal. and this African energy over here. South America to Africa. Getting linked in. Very interesting. So, and again, that could be North America too with the eagle, right? And I'm getting like a tribal yell from Africa to call in the bird. So call in the bird. And that could be the Sirius energy too, or Lyran energy. And I'm getting like a tribal dance. You know, it's a birthing yell. It's birthing through the ring of fire as we just had the eclipses. As this is the horizontal pillar of the eagle flying over the mountains. The proposal of the Queen's Gambit, right? She puts out her pawn. They send their bird. Who's got a bird on their arm? To the lion. But the eagle's also the one who picks at Prometheus's liver for giving humans fire. And the lion is fire. And the lion is coming up as Africa, not as Mesopotamia, Africa. It's very interesting the way it's coming up. Okay, the bottom of the deck is the gift of light. And again, this is my rolling stone, the EM3W. When you put them all together, it's the same letter in different positions, becomes the gift with the ash bow on top, AE. The 5 of, again, is coming up, the Hierophant, freedom, change, expansion of celebrations here in the gift of light. And again, Thanksgiving. You are ready to bring new and exciting things into your life. Thanksgiving, gratitude, right? Thank you, you're welcome. And luck with the 19 and sunshine. So there's the 4 again, the 4 knights, the 4 chambers of the heart. You are right to be strong and optimistic about the opportunities ahead, as there are gifts and celebrations to be seen here of light. Of light. I want to get, what's one of the soap operas? Through the sands of time. These are the days of our lives. I forget. I don't know if I'm confusing. I'm putting 2 soap opera titles together, but it's something like that. Yeah. And don't forget, we have Aries and Libra, North and South Node, courting the twins. All right, so this is in alignment with you, us as twins. Okay, so this node is a really great aspect for us right now, which is why we're getting all this energy of aligning with twins. So get ready, do your thing, follow your guidance. Okay, you know by now what your guidance is. Connect with others to get downloads, right? You'll process it into your own downloads. So just keep, it's that dance back and forth between the masculine and feminine, between the source and the human, right? Between others and you, right? It's this dance of balancing those 3 different directions. So remember, your water and your sleep are really important because it has to do with your health and how well you feel. And don't forget, part of feeding you is your thoughts you're feeding. Are you feeding yourself that things are bad and terrible? Don't do that. Everything's wonderful. Don't forget to love your water every day. Just be good to yourself. You get some joy in nature. It was freezing today. It was kind of hard to get my feet outside. It was really cold this morning. And it's 7:20 on the clock now, which is the 72 of the 72 by 72, 144, and the Chariot and Judgment, but also the 72 of the 4 of Pentacles, which is the Divine Masculine and the Batcave. And again, being practical here. So I'm going to leave it at that. I'll see you next time, guys. Have an amazing next few weeks, but I'll see you before then. On this channel, Twin Flames 3344, but don't forget to check out my general reads on the other channel, okay? See you soon. Bye, guys.